Hey guys, yeah, I pretty much know what I said. Let's just say things were all kind of canceled last minute, so I was able to do this review. But okay, jumping right into it, being straight honest with everyone, for however much it's worth, this is the first chapter in a long, and I mean very long time, that actually made me care about the secondary cast that exists within the spectrum of Class A. Because, for me, characters like Koda and Shoji have existed within this weird bubble where, in my mind, they've only ever existed as supporting characters. Someone whose narrative role is strictly defined by their ability to aid the main character or characters. That's really all they've ever done, and that's really all I've ever seen them as. But going into this, that's kind of, so when I finally realized, okay, this is what the focus is, I kind of went in with that same mindset. Then the final page of this chapter happens, where it's revealed that yes, Shoji, like Koda, and everyone else on that battlefield, is a mutant or heteromorph, which is obvious. I don't think it was, the reveal itself, I don't think it was a surprise to any one of us, just looking at Shoji's appearance. It was clear what he was, but where things get interesting with that reveal is when you realize they're all the same. No one on that battlefield is really all that different, other than typical other than their actual traits as heteromorphs. That's the only thing that's different about them. They are. That's the only difference is what type of heteromorph they are. They're all the same. They're all fighting for the self-same cause of acceptance, but having just rapidly different views on how to go about it. Like, this whole chapter, in my mind, is straight up the purest form of X-Men material in that MHA framework. Like, I know that sounds like weird praise, but that's pretty much how invested I was in this chapter. Just seeing all these people who are the same but different in varied physical ways, all gathered together for essentially the self-same goal, but they're fighting. They're fighting in order to preserve their idea of what they feel needs to be done for acceptance. And for Shoji specifically, I love how he kind of almost outright calls out a lot of the Liberation Army's BS. Like, yeah, sure, we all want the same thing. We want acceptance. So what is your plan? You got a plan? What are you going to do after you've razed the city to the ground? And I like how Shoji also speaks to the idea of revolutionary movements in general by saying, I get it. You're angry. You got every right to be angry. But what's your plan? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What exactly do you want? What is it you're going to demand? Like, it's one of those things where if you don't know what you want or what your end goal is to change things, then you're not doing anything. You're just venting your anger at the world at large. And honestly, you see as much with the way that one villain pinned Koda down and called him a traitor to his kind because he lived in the city. Like, it really shows that there's not just the deep-seated hatred within the deep-seated hatred but also about about the divide itself among the among heteromorphs as well, and that how there is kind of a geographical bias to it. Like, I can't say this shit doesn't exist because I do live in the city, but it's like, yeah, this shit does exist, but it's like I love how he translated this into that sort of X-Men sort of format, and I love it for that. And yeah, at this point, I'm just wondering what the hell is going to happen to Spinner by the end of this, because he becomes even more of a hulking, mindless monster with each chapter, and unless he stops himself or someone else stops him, there's only one way this can end for him, which, granted, is perfectly fine with All for One, but I think that's also why Horikoshi set it up like this, because Shoji is not... but it's not the only one who is probably the only one who can stop Spinner, but he's also likely the only one who can kind of understand Spinner to a degree, and only one who, even after whatever they do to slow him down and reverse whatever's happening to him, can probably make Spinner see reason about the direction he's taken. Which, granted, Spinner in a lot of ways I think has already started to understand and really see through the idea that, and you really see throughout, even before whatever happened to him, you really see how he started to have doubts for the longest time about all this and what's going on, and it probably won't be too hard to convince him otherwise after he's returned to normal, but as it stands, he's really nothing but a puppet, and Shoji is the only one who can cut his strings. With that said, for as much as I love the character work in this chapter, I do admit the one major issue I have is that it feels like Koda got a little more downplayed compared to Shoji, which I get no matter what you do, what you do to try and balance the screen time for the characters. Ultimately, there is going to be one who overtakes another, but I feel we could have gotten a little more focus on Koda, but maybe that'll happen next chapter. With that said, I'm once again gonna sound like a broken record, but the paneling and layout for this chapter was just very claustrophobic. Like, it's weird to say, but it feels like the paneling gets more and more claustrophobic with each chapter. Like, it felt like there was so much jammed into so many small spaces, which, to be fair, stuff like that did kind of work when it was focused on the mental breakdown of Spinner's mind, but for scenes with actual motion or action, it felt all squeezed together and not helped either when dialogue was included. Like, at that point, like, it's just kind of hard to make anything out. And honestly, I don't know if this is more Imamura or Horikoshi, but someone really has to start acting smarter in how the page layout is constructed, because this feels like a problem that keeps getting worse with the My Hero Academia manga, not feeling like it has enough breathing room anymore for scenes to play out, with a couple of exceptions, like when there are those sweeping or overhead views of the city. The way those are handled, those are pretty great, but when focused on actual combat, on actual combat scenes, that feels like where things fall apart a bit. I don't know, like, something just doesn't feel right about that. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. I'm on Twitter, Analyst Crunchyroll. Push the notification bell, subscribe button, and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight of Anime signing off. Later, everyone.